Hello into a Fellas Friday here on the PHNX Suns podcast. It beats
That's so much
beats
better.
the sausage
I like
fest.
it.
I mean,
Friday with the fellas. This sounds way better than Fellas Friday.
I bet to say Friday with the fellas.
That sounds like my grandma. Hey, fellas.
Why does your grandma sound like a California girl?
Rest in peace. Sorry.
Oh no.
Sorry, Nana. Anyways, it's been a hell of a week. It's been a lot, and we've come to the end of it. Thank God.
Thank God.
I'm Espo. He's Gerald. That's Saul. And Flex down on the far end. Lindsay has not been fired. We're rotating, everybody, all right? My dad said you guys need to address that off the top of the show so the chat doesn't keep asking where somebody is.
Yeah.
So there you go. No Lindsay today. Plenty to talk about, though, and I want to start here. I know you guys talked a little bit about Grayson Allen yesterday, but I want to talk about what is his actual fit here. We know about the people don't like him because of Duke and all these things that, you know, his attitude, whatever the case may be. But how does he fit in on this roster? And for me, I think it's very well. But I want to hear where you guys stand on Grayson Allen's fit with the way the current roster stands.
I think with the addition of Allen, you're going to see a super competitive training camp. And I think we already were going to see that because there are a lot of position battles that are going to play out. And not just position battles, but just battles for minutes. Because like we've talked about, a lot of these guys can play multiple spots. I think Allen is most likely going to be set as a 2. But people need to keep in mind, like, this is a guy that started 70 out of his 72 games for a Milwaukee Bucks team that won the most games in the league last year. So he's very good. He's going to probably have a spot in this rotation. He is a committed defender, which you know Vogel is going to like. And he's a reliable shooter, which is something that the Suns need out there. So I can't say I know how it's going to all shake out, but I do know he will be getting minutes, like pretty consistent minutes here. And I don't know what that means for the other guys because this team has a lot of guys that can play in the backcourt together.
We did a depth chart exercise, which we'll get to in a little bit. And the hardest part about that was who's going to go where, what part of the lineup are they going to go, first string, second string, so on and so forth. And Grayson Allen is literally in the middle of a couple positions. I mean, you could probably fit him. If you went small ball, you could probably put him at a 3, but not very often. He's mostly going to play 2. He can handle the ball. He's not going to play the 1, but he can handle the ball. Like, he's a good player. He is a good player. The only problem is obviously he's got the dirty player moniker on him, and so but he's our dirty player now. I think from a strategy standpoint, again, I think he fits he checks a lot of boxes for you, like you just mentioned. The biggest one being able to be a consistent shooter from the outside, not just in the corner. Like, he's a good player. I think, listen, I know people will kind of shit on it at first, but I think this is actually a really good addition for the Suns. It would be equivalent to maybe getting somebody like a JJ Redick in the middle part of their career as opposed to the latter part of their career because of, you know, his shooting ability alone.
I think you nailed that. I think that's the guy I think about is JJ Redick. And you're going to get consistent.
Because they're white boy shooters. Yeah,
maybe.
That a lot of people didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
You're going to get consistent, reliable NBA three-point shooting from this guy. I mean, he brings that. He brings toughness. He brings the scrappiness that Frank Vogel talked about in his press conference. I think he's going to be a big part of this team. I think he's going to be the tone setter for this team. I think you're going to look at basketball games, and every team has that guy that's like the heartbeat of the team. Like, you know, the first year we went to the finals, Campaign felt like that. He was the energy guy. When Campaign played well, the Suns played well. I think we're going to get a lot of that from Grayson. I think he's going to kind of set the tone, shoot the 3, be scrappy, play defense, and just be that guy that if he doesn't play for you, you hate him, but he's on our team, so now you love him. That's what it is.
Gerald, you brought up that he started most of the games he played in Milwaukee last year. Let's take a look at what his stats were last year in that role. I mean, almost 10.5 points, 3.3 rebounds, 2.3 acts.
He only got a 2.3 on his ACTs. That's terrible.
And he got into Duke, so
Damn.
Yeah, they let him 39.9% shooting percentage from 3. Yeah, you're the producer. Take a look and figure it out. I didn't. I read what was. Did we say Emma at all? No. We said that he scored really poorly.
Everybody
on
knows
his
who you're
ACT.
pointing to, Espo. They've been watching the show daily.
I didn't. I just said X and then he said ACTs.
Do we need to investigate Duke
God.
now?
Yeah, we do.
Like, hold on,
They're
man.
letting guys with
That
2.3
is, yeah,
on
that's
their ACTs.
iffy, brother. That's iffy.
That's a bad GPA, let alone an ACT score. That's terrible.
You thought he was dirty. I mean, he was dirty when he got into
It
college.
was dirty how Emma just did you. I know that. Man, Emma was not fucking around.
I did not claim that I spelled it right. I sent it
I love
along.
I love it.
Anyways, though,
You thought me and Chelsea were going to be the ones fighting today. You were wrong.
when you look at it, though, I'm very, very intrigued what he can do. But somebody in the chat brought up a good question. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was, but asked about, is this just a carbon copy of a guy you already have on the roster and Eric Gordon with it, which I don't think. I think you could play those two guys next to each other.
Yeah.
Eric can handle ball handling duties, right? And you could still have Grayson Allen out there as a guy next to him that can shoot in that second unit, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Grayson is a lot more of a spot up shooter on offense. He's a guy that you want running off a lot of screens. He was really good in that role with Milwaukee. They ran some pretty creative stuff to kind of get him open looks, and that's something the Suns can take advantage of because they have other shooters to space the floor as well. But you hit the nail on the head. I think Gordon is a guy that can play on the ball or off the ball coming off the bench. So I think they can share the court together. And look, like Gordon is a guy you can have guard up a position or two because of how strong he is.
Yeah.
He's built like a human boulder. And then Grayson Allen, like he's an irritant. He loves navigating ball screens, chasing guys all over the court. Like that's kind of his role. So I think they could make that work if those two were sharing the court.
I agree. The more and more, last year, I don't think any of us were excited about the bench. Let's be honest. Like, it was like, man, you were like, I hope these guys play well. That's about it. I hope campaign shows up today. I hope this happens. Like, it was a lot of hope, but this year, like, I'm more excited about the bench than I think I am the starting five because I feel like I relatively know what I'm going to get with at least the big three, right? But the bench and really honing in on that. Yeah. Everybody keeps forgetting about Jordan Goodwin. I'm so excited about Jordan Goodwin. And then you team him up with, Grayson Allen, Gordon. Let's see if KBD or Okogie come off the bench. And just the different matchups, Eubanks, like the depth on this roster is significant. And I know these casuals from across the country are looking, they're like, they didn't really improve. They just traded DeAndre Ayton. They didn't really improve. The fuck we didn't. Right. Like they got significantly better on the bench. They improved overall. So I'm excited about the bench more than I think I've ever said. I don't think I've ever uttered that sentence in my life. This is the first.
Hey, well, you bring up Jordan Goodwin though. And Flex, we'll get to you in a second with this, but Jordan Goodwin, I think might be the guy that loses minutes in all this, right? Because Eric Gordon now, and we'll get into the depth charts like we said, but is likely the backup ball handler. Grayson Allen's likely that backup shooter. Jordan Goodwin is now kind of in a spot where how do you use him? And I don't know that Frank's going to go with traditional rotations either.
I don't see Gordon being more of the backup than Jordan Goodwin at point, in my opinion. Like, I know Gordon can handle the ball for sure. That's not what I'm saying, but I think Jordan is more suited to be the facilitator and set things up than Eric Gordon is. I think Gordon is, listen, you want Gordon shooting. Like, that's what you want. Yeah. You don't need him setting up the offense. So that's why I went to that route.
Well, there's a log jam we'll get into when we
There's a huge log jam. Yeah. I think it's early to say this. I think this is the deepest team in basketball. Okay. I really do. I think right now it's a little too early to say that, but I think it's going to play out that way. I think the Lakers are very deep too. But I like this team. I like their bench. I can't wait to see Jordan Goodwin, Grayson Allen, and Josh Okogie
In the
with
same
maybe
lineup, huh?
same lineup.
Oh man.
I mean, dogs. And then you throw KD at the 4, or you put KD at the 5 and somebody else at the 4. I mean, there's potential where Frank Vogel's going to be able to throw out some, brick wall lineups. Like, yo, good luck with this for 5 minutes or 4 minutes.
But that's what
How about you have those three? Okay, so you have Jordan Goodwin. Then after that you have Grayson, and then you have Gordon. Okogie, and then you have Eubanks and Azubuike, and we're fucking dudes up. Let's go.
But honestly, this brings up a good point. I actually think that this year you may see defensive specific lineups that Vogel will run out. Like, it's not going to be a traditional, here's the 9 guys, the first 5, and then 4 guys are going to roll in with KD, right? I think you're going to see specific situations with specific lineups this year, especially on the defensive end where that's Vogel's key.
Can I piggyback on that? We love Ty Lue. Ty Lue's the best in the world at adjusting. Frank is very good at in-game adjustments like this and putting out fires. And so there's going to be some games where somebody's going to get a little too hot. He's going to call a timeout. He's going to say, you, and you. Cut that out. Kill that fire. And that's where it's going to get exciting, because he's going to have a whole bunch of weapons to go to. And I haven't even mentioned Nasir Little, who I think you throw that big tank in that defensive lineup and he's healthy. Wow. I mean, it can get scary.
Well, let's start looking at our depth chart. And Saul, since you hated this exercise so much, let's start with you. Let's take a look.
I didn't have time to make it.
Well, then let's skip Saul's depth chart because he didn't want to do it anyway. Gerald, what was your?
I did it.
Okay. Let's go to mine. So again, like I said last time I did this, I'm putting Josh Okogie as a quote unquote point guard because for me it's about who he's going to defend. I still think if you are not starting one of Josh Okogie or Jordan Goodwin, I have problems seeing how those two will both get minutes. I think one of them is going to struggle for playing time if Okogie is not starting. So I got him in there to handle point of attack. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Yusuf Nurkic rounding out the starting 5 as we expected. Eric Gordon, I think I put him at point guard just because of, like we were talking about with Grayson Allen. They can share the court and he might take on more of the playmaking. Then I got Jordan Goodwin behind him, Damian Lee behind Grayson Allen, KBD and Nasir Little behind Book. Yuta Watanabe and Metu behind Durant, and then Eubanks and Bol behind Nurkic. And it's a doozy trying to put these together because so many guys can go at so many different positions. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to Vogel experimenting with different lineups, figuring out what works, and come playoff time, possibly even going beyond that just for whatever the situation calls for.
I don't know why I cannot wrap my head around Okogie being that starting lineup. I just cannot. Your logic is not flawed at all. I can't wrap my head around that small of a trio in the backcourt, in my opinion. And then Devin Booker playing small forward. I don't know if I'm ever going to be a fan of that. I know he does spot there from time to time, but I just think that Devin Booker is the best facilitator right now that we have on the team. And
well, like I said, that's more of a defensive.
Like
offense, I think he'll function as more of the point guard. I think him and Bradley Beal will kind of be interchangeable, and I think they'll use Okogie as a screener and cutter because obviously he's not as much of a three-point threat. But you're right, like the spacing with Okogie is a concern. The lack of size could be a concern depending on who you're going against, having those 3 in the backcourt together. I will say, I think KBD can win that spot if he can prove that he can guard guys like Steph or Ja, or at least stick with them.
Yeah. Flex, you want to go through yours next?
Yeah. Let's get to it. So I did this pretty much. This is hard, guys. This is a hard exercise. I got Brad Beal at the 1. I think that's what it's going to look like to start the year. You're going to put Book at the 1. Brad Beal at the 1, Book at the 2. I think I'm leaning Okogie right now, but Nasir Little is intriguing to me. I think he's going to put pressure on KBD and Okogie, and I would not be shocked if Nasir Little at some point is a starting 3 for us this year. I got KD, Yuta, and Metu at the 4 with Nurkic, Eubanks, and Bobo rounding out the center position. And again, this is an exercise. It's hard to kind of fit everybody into these boxes. None of those guys I mentioned are point guards. So, that's the one thing that we can all agree on. I think do we have one point guard in the lineup?
No.
Maybe Jordan Goodwin is the only true point guard or guy that can run a point, but it's positionless basketball. So my biggest take from that exercise is my fascination with the three and my fascination with what Frank is going to do come opening night. I'm leaning Okogie. I think KBD and Okogie all summer I've been kind of going back and forth, but the monkey wrench now is, man, Nasir Little is better than people think. And I think he could potentially be as good defensively as both of them. I think Okogie's a better point of attack guy on a point guard, but Nasir is pretty damn physical. So it's going to be fun to watch that unfold.
We'll take a look at mine as well here. I have Book as the point guard, Eric Gordon and Jordan Goodwin behind him. Bradley Beal at shooting guard with Grayson Allen, Damon Lee. Kevin Durant at small forward with Nasir Little and Josh Okogie behind him. I'm a little less high on Josh Okogie than others here. I think KBD is going to get the start with Yuta Watanabe and Chimezie Metu backing him up, and then Yusuf Nurkic, Drew Eubanks, Bull. I think we were all in agreement there. But I'm reading this very interesting book called Spaced Out by Mike Prada, which is a fantastic look at the concept of positionless basketball. And I think a lot of people assume that positionless basketball means small ball, right? And the whole premise of this book is that's not the case. What it means is at any time you have 5 guys that can do the roles of all those traditional positions, but they may be guys that are just different body types than you ever expected, because the whole construct of those positions was just based on short guys tended to be crafty and big guys were slow and plodding back in the day. Yeah. And to me, we're looking at this, reading this book, it started to make more sense why they got Yusuf Nurkic, right? And I don't think this is earth-shattering by any means, but what was one of the biggest knocks we had on DeAndre Ayton? Not a good ball handler, right? Like we always said, his handle wasn't there, right? Yusuf can dribble when needed, is a very good passer when he gets in a situation after a roll. If the defense collapses, he can find those guys. And I think that was a big part of it, because yes, he's in a center's body, but he can do some of those things that you'd need traditionally from other positions. And that's what this is all going to be about, is Devin Booker can do what a point guard could do, but also has skills that a shooting guard. Same with Bradley Beal. You look at KD, who can handle the rock and do these things. So at any time, Frank Vogel's going to have 5 guys that have those skill sets, even if they're not in the similar body type that we think about in these positions. And that's why you look at it and everybody's like, it's guard heavy, too many shooting guards. It's because you're thinking within a certain construct, right? Yeah. But each of those guys offer a little something different. Jordan Goodwin, very much that defensive mindset, can pass the rock. Eric Gordon and Grayson Allen are the fire bombers. Obviously, Devin Booker and Bradley Beal are Swiss Army knives in a lot of ways and what they could do. So you don't have too many shooting guards. Yeah. You got guys with very different skill sets. One
of the things that I think people need to realize, if you've never played organized basketball, even at high school, is like your coach will put you out there and you have 15 guys out there. 5 will stand on the sideline and he'll play 5-on-5. And then he'll be like, hey, you going for so-and-so. And they'll mix the lineups up and see what it looks like. Because you never know what like you just kind of stumble upon sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes players just jive better with other players. The chemistry matters. Like that happens in the NBA. That happens on these teams. Sometimes you might move an Okogie or a KBD to the second unit, even though you think you eventually, like maybe to close the game, you might use them in the starting 5 because you feel like they fit better with the second unit and the chemistry is just better overall. We don't really know anything outside of the big 3. We don't know shit about how this team is going to line up, how they're going to gel together. And that's kind of the fun part, because I feel like it's not because you don't have trust in any of these guys. It's because you don't know how good everybody's going to gel together, because the talent is that good. Yeah. And so that's a great problem to have, as opposed to last year where you felt like 7-8 deep and that's about it, right? Yeah. This year, man, you could really just funnel them in and out and see how it goes, man. And I'm excited about that. We didn't even talk about the fact that throughout the game, you're going to see Beal, KD, Book intermix with that second unit or some of those 10th, 11th, 12th guys that come off the bench, because you're not going to sit them on the bench. They're going to play 34, 36, 38 minutes a night. Like, that's just who they are. But everybody else, man, this is going to be so much fun. I was excited before. I didn't think I would be more excited now after DA. I am definitely more excited now. And I don't know if it's because of I'm happy that I don't have to talk about the inconsistencies of DA as much as I love him. I'm kind of happy about that. And I don't have to talk about that drama in the chat anymore. I love everybody, but oh my God, that's so...
weight has
been lifted a little bit, but also because I feel like we definitely have a lot more depth. Yeah. We might have lost a little bit at center for sure, but I feel like, man, this is going to be a fun ass team to watch.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You brought up a great point. We talk about analytics all the time, and some people like it, some people don't, but it's been embraced. Back in the 80s when we were watching basketball.
I thought you were going to say playing basketball. I was like, bro, man, I'm not that old.
when we were hooping in the 80s and you watch pro basketball, if somebody pulled up from 35 feet, what happened?
They got pulled.
Out the game. Don't see the court for the rest of the game. Now it's embraced.
Into the score. Get him out.
Yeah, analytics has allowed us to look at things deeper lens and say, okay, you know what? That's okay. Like, that's not frowned upon. I'm surprised positionless basketball hasn't evolved quicker. Because it's gotten to a point where it's very simplistic. I mean, I love this. Is why I love the game of basketball. When we go out to the courts, if you out there hooping in the city, and you got next, are you sitting here saying, "Well, I got to get a point guard, a 2 guard, a 3 and 4"? No. You're saying, man, give me the best 4.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I'm taking the best 4, and I don't give a damn what we doing because we're going to play to our strengths and hope that our strengths are better than them 5 guys against us.
Match up. Go with what you want to go.
Figure it out. Do we got to go zone? Do we got to go man? Are we going to match up? Are we small?
First of all, Flex, if you're playing zone and pick up basketball, get the fuck off the court.
Dog.
Dog.
Listen,
are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious.
Oh my God.
Bro, listen, because in New York City.
If I ever heard somebody say, hey, let's go 2-3, I'm like,
No,
get the fuck off the court.
Bro, listen. Can I explain this, though? Can I explain this?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm on 155th in Harlem. You got next. You got your 5. New York is a point guard city. Number ball handlers and point guards, right? So you got 5 guards, and you got 3 bigs on the other team. If you lose, you're going home. You're jumping back on a train. Don't come back because you got to wait 4 hours. So in that situation, you got 4 or 5 guards. We all look at each other like, yo, we going 2-3 here. We can't go, man. They're going to destroy us. So we go zone and we work as a team. That happens in New York, fellas. Hey, we going to New York this summer.
That's not how we go down in Arizona, baby.
There's only 2 teams out there, so nobody's leaving.
Right. How many courts in Arizona, if you lose, you got to wait 4 hours?
No, you know what? You know what you lose? When you lose, you pass out from heat stroke.
That's what goes. Almost happened to me.
But I think you talk about why did it take so long to get to positionless basketball, but rule changes had a big part in that. Hand checking, was a big part of that. Finally, allowing zone in the NBA led to needing to spread it out, and I don't think it's just analytics that led to that. It was logic in the spacing in the court, right? So you look at it and what this Suns roster has now more than it did a week ago, and it may not be more talented, but it has more versatility that you can utilize in those situations. And that's what I like so much about it is you're now looking at a team that may be one of the most versatile that Phoenix has ever had, where there are interchangeable parts. There's guys that can do so much, and you don't have to worry about when we used to complain that Book didn't have a true point guard a handful of years ago, he didn't have shit on the roster either. That was the problem. You had Book and no depth or nothing.
But we've been conditioned to think that way too.
I know.
Right? So everybody thought, oh, we don't have a true point guard. That's why we suck. I'm like, no, it's because you're playing Shaq fucking Harrison.
Yeah. Why you got to go to Shaq Harrison, my guy?
That's the only name I can think of. 2018.
He remembers.
Damn.
Sorry. No shade. It's just true.
So I think that's, to your point, the bench excites me because of that. Yeah. There's so many different skill sets on that bench and so many different combinations that you can go with. and I think in Frank Vogel, a guy that's going to utilize it correctly.
Right. I think that's the big key for me is he's going to need some patience from the fan base because he's got to try out all these different lineup combinations and see what works and what doesn't. Because I know last year with Monty, they had significantly changed up the roster after the trade deadline. And it was like, okay, we have a lot of offense-only guys and a lot of defense-only guys. The Suns won't have that problem this year, but they still need to mix and match and figure out what works for the playoffs so you know, okay, I can depend on this lineup for this and this lineup for that. And it's going to take some time to figure that out because all of these guys are new pretty much. Like it's a whole new system, whole new teammates, and you're trying to build it around your big three. It'll take some time to figure out. But I do like your starting lineup because I think if Okogie doesn't start, I think KBD is the fifth guy, and I think Okogie might be struggling to get minutes just because Jordan Goodwin is more of a playmaker, so that might give him more of an opening to playing time.
And it also puts a lot of pressure on Josh Okogie to have to hit the open three when he's on the court because that was the number one thing that fell apart for him towards the end of the year, and he couldn't do it at all in the playoffs. Yeah. And listen, like you're going to look at the tape if you're Frank Vogel, you're going to see what these guys are all about, especially the guys you're not as familiar with, like Devin Booker, obviously. So you got to check it out. And listen, Josh Okogie has to make an impact. He will defensively. We already know that. But it's the other things. Like you can't be 100 on one side and a 0 on the other. You got to be a nice blend of both. And that's where Josh Okogie has an opportunity. If Josh Okogie hits the 3 in practices, I probably feel like he's going to be in the starting 5. If he does not, he's going to be in that 10, 11, 12 area on the roster.
But that's the beauty of it compared to last year. Last year, at times, he was your 5th starter. At times, he was your 6th man. And now we're talking about this team is constructed in a way where he could be your 11th or 12th guy. And if you get to break glass in case of emergency, you're not scraping the bottom of the barrel. You have a Josh Okogie there to help as well. That's why I think this is a well put together roster. I want to tell you about our friends over at Circle K. Inner Circle is this new thing that they're doing inside their Circle K app. And I got to tell you, one of my favorite things that one of our sponsors have done, one of our partners here, I got a notification like a week ago, free coffee this week. The other day, free chips if you come in, 25 cents off of gas. The first time I signed up, I got like 5 free Polar Pops. Like they're just giving stuff away for being being part of their inner circle, and I like that. I really like that they're doing here, and it's free. That's the best part of it. Download the app and sign up for the inner circle. It's just that easy. Terms and conditions will apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details and the most versatile way to watch your games, whether it's Suns, whether it's NFL, college football, MLB with the playoffs heating up, Fubo TV, over 140 live channels, sports, news, everything that you can need and want. NFL Red Zone on there too, which is a Sunday tradition for me when I'm not running a million errands. I love to watch me some Red Zone on Fubo. 1,000 hours of cloud DVR as well. So if you're like me, and you like shows but you're working nights, record them on the cloud DVR and you can watch them later.
I got a question about Fubo. Yeah. Can you get League Pass on Fubo?
You can.
You could
do it as an add-on on there.
Man,
they got everything you want.
I'm getting killed with my cable.
I mean, you like golf? Ryder Cup's on there right now.
Yeah, I got to watch that shit this morning.
You like tennis? I'm sure that's somewhere too. I don't know.
Yeah, I might have to look at this. Man.
So you can watch all your favorite college football, NFL, and everything we talked about with Fubo. Go to FuboTV.com/PHNX to sign up for 15% off your first month with Fubo Pro.
Hey, Phoenix said, Saul, you're cute to laugh at Espos now. End of ad read. LMAO. No, you did very good.
Look,
you did very good.
Hello, excuse
nice
me.
Job,
Jay
buddy.
said I'm stepping up my game.
You are, man. You got to put together.
He just jinxed me. In baseball, you don't talk about when somebody's throwing a no-hitter, and Jay just said Espo's having a great show. I don't like that.
That's tough.
Don't like that one bit. So rumor came out last night that the Suns are still interested in TJ McConnell. Flex, what are you hearing on this front?
Yeah, I mean, it was legs to that. I think me, Gerald, and Lindsay spoke about it right after the show yesterday, and we started to hear a little bit of rumbles afterwards. But I can tell you, I'm comfortable saying I do not believe the Suns are going to get TJ McConnell. There were conversations, Indiana's poking around. I just feel like the Suns feel like they're okay right now going in. Now, anything can change. They're going to take calls all weekend. And if they can get better, they will. But I really don't think that TJ McConnell will be a Phoenix Sun.
I think it's a situation where he's a guy that we've heard his name come up twice now, and it makes sense for Indiana to kind of poke around because they have Andrew Nembhard that they're trying to get minutes to, and so maybe they're looking for a couple of second rounders for McConnell or something like that. I think if you're in the Suns' position, like we said this before, and look what happened, but I think you're set for training camp now.
Yeah.
So
hey, there's still what?
There's
72 hours?
There's still a whole weekend, but I think we're set for training camp now, and you can revisit this down the road if you look at your bench unit, if you look at your rotations and think, okay, we do need like one true point guard out there. Maybe Jordan Goodwin is not that guy. Maybe Book and Beal by committee is not getting it done. So you can revisit him, in December or at the trade deadline if you need to.
I think that's probably more likely than right now because, honestly, you probably – You do feel set. I think this. You don't need to do anything else. Like see how these places, these pieces fit together, and go from there. I think you have enough versatility. You have enough in the backcourt. Unless you start to get to that point where you just feel like you need that one person that can help organize things on the court because it just isn't happening, and you don't have a true point guard, and you feel like you need to go get one. That's the only way I can see them trying to force the situation.
Yeah.
But other than that, a lot of these guys that you did sign, they become, trade eligible after December 15th or January 15th.
Okogie is January 15th. The others, I believe, are December 15th.
Okay, so you have a little bit more flexibility after that point, and then you kind of can shore things up. And listen, the Suns, because of their depth, they might be at that. They might reach a point at some point where they're like, we have too many guys. We have too many guys. Redundant. Yeah, it's kind of redundant. We could probably sacrifice 2 or 3 to try and get somebody that can kind of shorten up our depth, but also provide a nice little added bonus.
100%.
Yeah, the way I look at it is a guy like a Grayson Allen, a guy like a Nasir Little. Some of these guys with contracts that might match up. You see how they fit in. Does Grayson Allen play the way you think? Does Nasir Little have the potential that you feel? Get to know him, see how it works, and then make tiny adjustments on the margins come trade deadline. That's part of why you got this flexibility in breaking up that DeAndre Ayton contract into smaller bits, as well as so you can explore that if you need to. I'm not sure this team's going to need to, though. I have a pretty good feeling this group will come together and play well, but it's weird. There just seems to continue to be the fascination. We saw the Kyle Lowry thing come up today. That they were kind of interested. My guess is that was more of a, if we have to take that salary on in a deal,
that one made no sense because Lowry's contract was like $29 or $30 million. So if the Suns were trading DA and barely had anybody else they could trade. Yeah. You're basically trading DA for Kyle Lowry. That would have made no sense to me.
I'd have been upset about that.
No, and he wouldn't have seen much. I don't think he would have seen a lot of playing time here.
I think he would have off the bench. I think he was still pretty good for Miami off the bench, but they just traded a point guard who had problems staying healthy through the playoffs, who was in his early 30s. It wouldn't have made sense to me for that. Someone asked in the chat how the money would work as far as TJ McConnell is concerned. He's on an $8.7 million contract, so you could trade Grayson Allen for him straight up, or Nasir Little if he doesn't work out, and probably another minimum pick because Nasir Little alone wouldn't work. That would be my guess. But look, as the season goes on, we like the Suns bench and their roster right now. There will be needs that become apparent. There could be injuries that happen. Like these things, we say that going into every season, and then by the trade deadline, we're always like, okay, what are some fake trades that would make sense for the Suns? Like it's just it's a natural thing that happens. So McConnell's definitely a guy to keep in mind if one of those needs that emerges is we need some more playmaking, we need some more point of attack defense, whatever it might be.
Yeah. I'm getting irrational. The more we talk about it, originally I was like, yeah, maybe you do need a TJ McConnell. But then the more I think about Grayson Allen, the more I'm excited to see this guy in a Suns uniform, and I know I'm not. I know I'm in a minority here with that.
You guys really leaned into the villain arc hard.
It's not even the villain.
Are you
arc,
shocked?
Though. It's a
No.
Okay.
but it's a guy that can hit those threes that we saw missed so often last year. A guy that's not afraid to get in there and put the effort in defensively, because I still think 50-60% of defense is the willingness to play defense, not necessarily inherent skill. So I think he had something in that group.
I heard someone say this first name. I can't remember who. And then I'm going to add a second name. But, I mean, is this safe to say Grayson has a chance of being the closest thing we've seen to like Danny Ainge and Roger Bell here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. 1,000,000%.
I mean, you could argue Jay Crowder maybe a little bit in that mold, not as
but he wasn't
as big of an asshole, but
I've never viewed Crowder in that vein. I just thought Crowder was
tough.
I thought Crowder was tough. He had intangibles that helped your team win. And then he did the salsa dance. That was about it.
Yeah,
like I didn't feel like he was talking shit to the other team a lot. He wasn't an instigator, really, in my opinion.
He took shit a good amount.
Huh?
I mean, he was
remember the
irritant.
whole Carl Anthony Towns little
Yeah,
thing?
I mean, they all do that,
but
though.
but
Jay
retaliation.
Crowder.
No, I mean,
I think Jay was just scrappy and tough.
Jay was scrappy. Jay would talk. He talked a good amount. But I will say there's a difference between that and a guy like Grayson. I think Grayson's an irritant because people just see him and want to punch something.
Right.
Like
You know,
it's like
Roger
different.
was like that.
Like if you talk to me and we get into a verbal back and forth on a topic, that's cool. But that's different than me just like Gerald, like every single time.
Well,
like,
no,
I'm
he
an
wasn't.
irritant now.
He wasn't a constant irritant, but he would talk shit for sure.
Yeah. Jay,
I mean,
Jay talk. Jay scrappy. I mean, book 70-point game. He was talking.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's scrappy. He's tough. He talks. I just feel like Grayson's a little bit of a different level than that. And people just hate him. And I love that with Roger Bell. Like Roger Bell, when we had that little team, he was the guy that didn't give a damn.
Yeah.
Like, and he clothesline Kobe, right? So, I mean, if you clothesline Kobe, brother, you a dog.
You got to have a set on you, that's for sure. We'll get back into Suns in a second, but the biggest domino still left to kind of fall after this trade is the Drew Holiday thing. Which team are you guys most afraid to see Drew wind up on?
Most afraid?
Yes.
Oh, I would probably say the Lakers.
I don't think they can make that work.
Well, I know. I'm just we're playing hypotheticals, so I was playing hypotheticals.
Oh,
Yeah.
but they can't trade.
I meant
for him, though.
realistically, but yes.
Okay. Well,
if
then
he could just
then
magically wipe
I
up
would
on
say
the
the
Lakers.
Clippers. I would say the
Okay.
Clippers. The Clippers are probably the number one team that I would be afraid because I feel like he fits their DNA to a T.
Yeah.
And he's going to be grimy, just like that team is. He knows how to get after it, and then you mix that with Ty Lue's defensive schemes, and that's not a fun team to play at all.
Clippers. Easy for me. Same thing he just said. Just everything Saul said times two. You got Westbrook and Drew chasing your ass down in the playoffs.
Oh,
Man, I don't
God.
want no part of that.
That was the first time ever on this show somebody said exactly what Saul says. I'll take that.
Yeah. Look at Saul. Damn.
This guy.
Grayson.
This guy. He is a Grayson.
Why do you think I'm so excited to have him here?
Unreal. I would say Boston, but since they're in the East, I'm going to pick somebody in the West. I'm probably going to go Warriors. I think, especially because they are in my mind, a real threat to get him. I think if he goes to the Clippers, obviously that would be scary, but I still have questions about all three of those guys being able to stay healthy. If he goes to the Warriors, it's probably going to be for Chris Paul. And then you've got the guy that gives Devin Booker the most problems, plus Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Like that would be a little scary for me.
Yeah, I think a dark horse would be a team like the Pelicans, him winding up back there, and all of a sudden, does that team become
Herb Jones, Alvarado,
that's
and Drew?
scary.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Don't even
God.
Like
go
this-
down that rabbit.
because-
Don't get nobody no ideas. Willie's probably watching this like, oh shit, Espo. Come on,
Griffin's
man.
like, hey man, that guy knows what he's talking
But
about.
I don't think Drew would ever want to go back to New Orleans
Probably not.
because he did not leave on good terms.
No, but if I'm
Forced his
just
way
thinking, those kind of obviously a much different team now than when he first was way out. But I would not want to face that team with a Drew Holiday on the
Hell
roster
no.
too.
You know who I would really like to see what team he would be on? The Utah Jazz.
Come on. Why you got to do that to Drew?
I already hate Utah. I might as well hate Drew Holiday.
Gotta
and
banish
Utah.
him.
Where I want to
Utah.
see him is Brooklyn.
That would be
Because
so
as
I
fun.
would love that
As
for
much as I
Kel,
love
man.
Brooklyn, and I think that
I would
they're
love
a
that for
sneaky good team, I don't think that makes them a competitor against the Suns necessarily.
Oh,
I don't think they're a finals championship threat. I think they become a much better team in the East, but I don't think they're the team you're looking across at during the NBA Finals. And if you are, I think you still have enough to.
You
take them.
actually want that smoke from yesterday.
He does.
Like you want
does.
Mikal here doing this.
Yeah.
Because if you
Yes.
give him Drew Holiday, then we're gonna have to sit Grayson on his ass.
Give me McHale. Give me Cam.
Oh,
give me
man.
Drew. I don't care.
Okay.
That team is not beating the Phoenix Suns.
Mikal and Drew could be
I
dangerous.
think,
bro.
yeah. And that, much like the second apron and all that crap,
Are you
I can worry about that years down the line. But this year, I don't care. I want a title, and I think that's the one place you send him, and it doesn't impact your title chances.
I'm already
I
like
agree.
getting anxious about this. And
Yeah.
one way that I cure my anxiety is
OGs.
OGs.
Are you
There
doing
you
the
go.
OGs, Rico?
Yeah, listen, it's the best edible in the game. All you got to do is go to ogsbrands.com to find the closest dispensary to you. And listen, you got the fruits, you got the creams, you got the RSOs, you got the Happy Balance gummies. They got some new stuff coming out. They got the mixed bags. I mean, listen, you can't go wrong. Everybody wants to be OGs. And also today, it was announced that OGs is the #1 edible in the state of Arizona.
Hell yeah.
And it was announced in New Times Magazine. So check out the brand that's the best in the business, just like we are the best in the business. Shameless plug. Going to ogsbrands.com. And also remember, you must be 21 or over to enjoy, and enjoy responsibly. Also follow them on social, on Twitter and Instagram.
Look, if
Damn, dog.
that was good.
That's Michael Jordan.
Hey,
Baby.
look,
Let's go.
Holy
if anybody
crap.
can do a master class on an OG's read, it's Saul. He knows the product inside
This
and
man's
out.
gonna start
I mean,
shrugging after ad reads.
It's good.
Now
Also,
that's going to be a fucking meme in Discord because I did that.
100%.
Damn it.
Also, we here at PHNX, we talk a lot about the Die Hard membership, and I highly recommend you become a Die Hard. But one thing I don't think we talk about enough is our merch. Our merch is elite. If you are an Arizona sports fan, whether it's Suns, and Cardinals, and D-backs, Coyotes, whatever the team you are a fan of, we've got shirts for you that will make you look much cooler than I look right now in this polo. And do we have that Diamondback shirt, Emma? Look at this beautiful shirt. We're a wagon. A wagon. And you can rock this shirt in the, it's Serpiente's flavor here.
Fire.
You definitely can. Make sure to check that out at phnxlocker.com. You can pick up that shirt and all the other great shirts we have there, and hats as well, like the one I'm wearing. Our friend, go ahead.
Good, no, go
No,
ahead.
I was going to say our friend Kendrick Perkins.
Oh, no, yeah. Before you get to that real
okay.
quick.
We have some breaking news.
Wee-oo. Breaking news.
The live one is so much better. The Indiana Pacers announced that they have signed Elfrid Payton.
Why? Because you can never have enough Elfrid Paytons, baby.
Oh, you know who that makes available?
TJ McConnell.
Because when I think Elfrid Payton, I think TJ McConnell replacement. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
You made me break out the breaking news sound.
That's interesting to me because it tells me TJ McConnell is probably going somewhere.
Yeah.
That's wild that you would replace TJ McConnell.
Well,
with
they're
Elfrid
not.
Payton.
He'll probably be third string. They're probably trading TJ to get something out of
Something
him
else,
and then
yeah.
give Andrew Nemhard minutes off the bench.
Also, real quick, before we get back to that, Amelia did say, hey, PHNX, are there any dates for takeovers yet? Yes. Next Wednesday, we are doing our entire show. That was it. Sorry. We're doing our whole schedule show for our next takeover. That's happening for the whole Sun season. But if you do want to go to Illegal Pete's, you can go hang out there too. For the Sorry, I didn't know that's what you were doing. She was talking about Suns takeovers, so I was answering that question. My bad.
Look, you could go. People are like, "Oh, does that mean it could be?" Now, couldn't you go Nasir Little Ish Wainwright. If you really wanted to go
What do you
that
mean?
way for a TJ McConnell.
Oh, for TJ.
To make the salaries work. I think
Teams are calling about Nasir.
Yeah.
But
I doubt they do that. I just anything we can do to not make it a Grayson Allen deal after I've gotten so excited. I'd appreciate that, James Jones. Thank you very much.
I mean, I would just laugh because your heel turn would immediately turn back. We didn't need any
didn't
dirty
need him,
players.
right.
No, I'd be like,
We
TJ
didn't want that-
McConnell's my guy.
We
now.
didn't want that dirty guy over here in the valley.
You knew it was coming.
Oh, and TJ McConnell still plays into our villain turn here. I mean,
Yeah.
he fits in the anti-hero group because
How?
he's such a tenacious defender.
He's tenacious, but I don't know if he's a villain.
not.
I don't think he's
villain.
dirt.
He is
look,
well loved
not
across
dirty.
the NBA. You
I
take
think you
that
can-
back
I
there.
think defensively you can get annoyed.
You're not going to
ASU fans hate him, so
Yeah.
we got that
Well,
going for
congrats.
us.
true.
They never beat him either.
We
That's
hate
why
everybody.
they hate him.
Can we talk about Kendrick Perkins
We
and
can.
whatever he's been on here? He's been
Man.
on one the last few days.
Yes.
He said this first thing about Bull. It's so much so that NBA Central on Twitter, the great aggregator that they are, just tweeted out, Kendrick Perkins says Bull be a defensive player of the year candidate next season? Eye emoji. And the first thing you go is, okay, did they aggregate this wrong? Because this sounds crazy. Well, nope. Kendrick Perkins clarified with a quote tweet of the same tweet saying, I feel like Vogel, KD, Book are going to have this young man on a mission this year. Carry the hell on.
Look, man, I'd have to look it up, but I don't think anyone who's come off the bench in NBA history has won Defensive Player of the Year. So there's that immediate hurdle
Maybe he's
right
saying
there.
he's not coming off the bench.
I know. I'm guessing that's what he's saying, but I just
Has there
don't
ever
see
been
it,
a
man.
defensive player of the year on a minimum contract? Like,
On a minimum contract?
I mean,
Ooh,
he got a
man.
minimum contract.
Right.
He's a
It would be historical for like 40 different reasons.
Coda Kid's on board.
Flex, have you been DMing your 2K screenshot stats to Kendrick Perkins?
maybe,
about
bro.
Bol
That's
Bol?
probably what it is. Because Bobo is a savage in 2K, man. He's gonna win Defensive Player of the Year in my 2K, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna
great.
screenshot it and send it to you, but not in the NBA.
Great. Yeah. You could win it all you want in 2K, but I love Perk. I find him entertaining. But this one, even for those of us who are card-carrying members of the Bowler Coaster, what the hell?
I
is a
mean,
high.
listen, if Bol was Defensive Player of the Year this year, the Suns are sweeping everybody in the playoffs.
Yeah,
That's just
so
a fact. Like nobody's even coming within 20 points all season long. Like that's how much of an impact he would make. I just don't see that happening.
Okay, so I think the only player that's won Defensive Player of the Year while coming off the
Ben
bench
Wallace?
is Michael Cooper back in 1986-87.
Ooh, Michael Cooper.
So it's been a minute.
Cooper's a dog.
Just
That was
say
the year he
that.
got chucked into the fucking seats with Larry Bird's ass.
Yeah, but hold on. That's not all that Kendrick Perkins threw out there.
Oh,
That was,
man, we not
was
done?
spicy. Can we show this other thing?
We not
Kendrick Perkins ranked his top duo list, like a big two list. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and number 5, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
This isn't just duos.
That's
He
wild.
labeled this lethal duos.
Lethal duos.
Lethal duos.
Um,
Hell no! Can we all say that? I feel like 3 weeks ago we had them at number 1 as duo.
Bleacher Report, yeah.
I feel like I'm not completely mad at that. I just feel like there's no way Joker and Murray are one. I'm sorry. That's not it. I kind of want to see Dame and Giannis first before we call them a lethal duo. On paper, it sounds good. I'm definitely taking Book and KD over Tatum and Brown.
Yes, that's the one.
And then LeBron and Davis, I probably am still taking KD and Book over that too. I mean, I think I'm comfortable with Book and KD at 3.
I could be okay with 3,
Who's your one?
maybe, but
My one on the list is probably Giannis and Dame.
Okay.
yeah,
right now.
that
That
would
makes
be
sense.
mine.
I mean, that's
That
a
makes
lethal
sense.
combo.
I gotta
mean,
see it. Like with
That
Flex,
picking-
I gotta
I
see it.
get you got to see it, but like on paper,
I don't even know
paper,
if you got to see it because the whole thing with Dame is when you set him a screen, you got to put 2 on the ball because he will pull from 30. If you
Yeah.
put 2 on the ball, Giannis is going downhill against 3 guys Stan
gonna
Van
run him
Gundy said
over.
it best. You have to form a fucking wall. You can't do that with 3 guys in rotation.
That's a good point.
That's going to be tough. As far in terms of just duos, like Dame and Giannis is one for me. Then I would put KD and Book. Then I'd probably go Tatum, Brown, AD, LeBron. No, I'd probably go Jokic, Murray, number 4. Like I
like your list.
I get giving them the respect of being the defending champs, but the things that made the Nuggets defending champs was more so Jokic's brilliance and then the fit with the whole starting 5. It wasn't just him and Murray, even though they have a really good 2-man game.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah, for me, I agree with all that, and I think KD and Book should be in the top 2 probably here. But the one that really bothers me is Anthony Davis and LeBron James being over KD and Book, because for me, I feel like they're getting in on recent history, farther back history. And what's the question with Book and KD that everybody brings
Health.
up? Well, health and age with KD.
Mm-hmm.
What are the question marks with LeBron? Age, Anthony Davis, health. And LeBron's older. Anthony Davis is a hell of a lot more injured.
LeBron's only 20.
LeBron's only 20.
I mean, in their eyes, no one goes out and says, man, guy's 58 years old. No one says that.
He's been in a hyperbolic chamber. He's so much younger.
20 years old.
Yes, I said Antetokounmpo in a wrong.
How
I said it.
did you say it?
Antetokounmpo.
Okay, so you do know how to pronounce
I
it.
stuttered in it because I was trying to read something else. So yes, it's
Who's trying to read the math?
Antetokounmpo. Yeah, no. I sounded like when he first came in the league, everybody trying to pronounce it
That was
on
rough.
there. But yeah, Perk has been on one. Usually he's been very much in the Suns' corner this summer. So the duos thing caught me off guard. The bull thing, I don't know what to say about it. But if you're feeling really spicy, you can put a band down on Bull to win Defensive Player of the Year over with our friends.
I don't think you can. I
You
don't
might
think
not.
he's on the list.
You know what the odds would
You
be
might have to
on
call
that?
in and ask a request.
He might have to be now.
Can I get plus 10 million on Bull to win Defensive
Well, then you
Player of
take
the
it.
Year?
You take it all day. You put $10 on it. You take plus 10 million all day.
Well, look, you can put 200 in bonus bets down on it by just placing $10 in wagers on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. It's super easy to sign up. Use that code PHNX when you download it. Put $10 deposit down in that account. Place a wager of at least $10 on a qualifying bet. And then once you place that, you're going to instantly receive $200 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your wager. And I got to tell you, the bonus bets that they give out, I love, because I've turned 2 $10 bonus bets that they've given me into $250 over the last 2 weeks. Bet first touchdown the last 2 Thursday night games and hit on both of them. So I highly recommend leveraging those free bets, bonus bets as much as you can. Again, sign up using that promo code PHNX. Place your first bet of $10. You're going to receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. Check out show notes for details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
And our friends at Shady Rays, if you're out this weekend, I'm on my way to California, and I'm going to have my Shady Rays, because it's supposed to be nice and sunny out there, and it's supposed to be here in Arizona too. And our friends at Shady Rays will take care of you. Use the promo code PHNX. You're going to get 50% off 2 pairs or more of Shady Rays sunglasses, the best polarized lenses you can have. I wear glasses. They make prescription sunglasses as well. I'm about to dip into that for myself. So make sure to get those discounts in today using that code PHNX. 2 pairs of polarized sunglasses, 50% off. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. You can get that. Let's talk about Book's shoes. We had talked that we were hearing sometime in 2024 that these shoes were going to drop. Word came out yesterday in a call with Nike's president, I believe it was an earnings call, that it's actually going to drop in December this year. And guys, you know what's November 30th? My 40th birthday. You know what you can get me in December? A freaking pair of Book Ones for my birthday.
Damn,
you think, first of all, you think I'm gonna go? You think I'm gonna go wait in line to get you a present?
Make some calls. You know people.
Also, like, what did you get me for my birthday?
I got you a hearty handshake. Was it your 40th? No, it was not.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
I'm kidding though. I'm actually excited though that we're gonna get to see these. Actually get on the feet of people in town sooner than 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was reading, there was an article that went really in depth into the process of making the shoe and how the whole Drake thing came about. And it was really cool to hear that Drake had been blowing up his phone like, man, wait till people feel how comfortable these are. Like, I need all the colors and all this stuff. And just the thought process behind trying to create this future classic based on past designs, going for something that's timeless. And that's why I think it was so cool when he put out kind of that grainy hand cam footage of like going through the comments that he took of like people saying like it looks like a skater shoe and all this stuff. Like it's very much a lifestyle and a basketball shoe. So kind of combining those two worlds is going to be really cool. I'm excited to see how they look in person and like try them out. And we only have to wait. It's a perfect Christmas gift this year. So I'm excited.
First and foremost, I was not on board with this shoe to start. I wasn't. And I don't know if I still am, but I am going to get them because I want to see what they like. And we're going to support our boy. That's what we do.
You're going to love them, bro.
Like I want to see them because I do feel like from the close-ups I've seen, I could see myself being on board a little bit more. But like just the gaudy orange block on your feet is just a weird look to me, but hey, listen, I'm gonna give it a chance, and I am looking forward to the colorways. Obviously, the different styles that you're gonna see from this. So, hey, let's get it popping.
One thing I think you'll appreciate though, if you go read the article that Gerald's referencing, is the fact that he went to Nike and looked at all these first editions of some of the most classic shoes, including the very first basketball shoe that Nike made, and he very much picked elements from those to create this shoe. And I found that fascinating that, they're like most guys, we wouldn't do these colors or these materials or these kinds of things, but he got into the Nike archive and really, really was hands-on with it.
DC said the book All Whites would go hard. Hell yeah, they would go hard. Now that I would be on board with.
Oh, you going to be on board.
And I think that article also confirmed, I mean, we probably knew this was coming, but it did confirm a Kentucky themed colorway is coming as well. So that'll be pretty
cool. I'm hearing some cool stuff.
I mean, the white and blue
I'm hearing there's going to be some cool stuff. I think this is one of those unique shoes that a picture of it doesn't do it justice. So when you actually got them and you put them on, you're going to be like, oh shit.
I just don't want to look like Sideshow Bob, man. That's all it is.
I mean, that's just one.
I know,
color,
but then the black ones make me look like I'm cleaning the fucking the stall or something like that.
I kind of like the black ones. I feel like I'm in the minority on that.
The Havens.
I don't mind. I feel like they're just steel-toe boots.
Oh my God!
I don't wear black shoes at all.
I thought you were supposed to be the sneakerhead on this show.
I said I was gonna buy them.
I didn't.
I'm gonna buy them. I'm not gonna like them, but
I'm gonna see them in
I'll
person.
probably wear them on the show, but
when I see them in person, listen. I will say this: Devin Booker has fantastic taste. I love his taste in wines. I love his taste in if you ever seen the GQ 10 Things I Can't Live Without, that's fantastic. Like I love his selection. So I trust that he put together a good shoe. I'm just saying, optically on video and in and on photos, I haven't been the biggest fan of what I've seen, but I know in person, I'm probably going to look at it and be like, bet, yeah, I like them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that.
I think also, if you read that article, you'll like them a little bit more because you get inside the thought process on how they put it together, and very interesting.
Them all white. I'm a white sneaker guy. I always wear white sneakers. I'm telling you, them whites going to hit different.
Yeah.
When them whites come out with the orange trim, purple trim, oh my gosh.
I will be wearing the orange ones as fast as I can get my
I know
hands
you
on
will.
I'll be rocking them proudly.
I know you will.
And I don't care what anybody says about those. You know what, guys? It's the weekend. Let's get the hell out of here. What do you say?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
He is Flex. You can follow him at Flex from Jersey. That is Saul at Saul_Bookman. He is Gerald Bourget at Gerald Bourget. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Espo. And remember, just because a shoe doesn't look great in a picture doesn't mean you're going to hate it once you buy it. Ahoy, hoy!
Megas in control and he ain't never gonna let go. PHNX though, Lindsey, Gerald, Espo. Saw past the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G, no plan B, always on the job.